Why do you feel nothing during the moments that are supposed to be the most meaningful? Maybe it's at a wedding, a birth, or a moment of great personal success. Everyone around you is crying or cheering, and you are standing there, intellectually aware that this is a big moment. But emotionally, you are a flat line. You feel like a ghost haunting your own life. The silent circuit breaker. Let's talk about the psychology behind emotional numbness, often known as dissociation today. For the deeply observant, this numbness isn't a lack of character or a cold heart. It is a sophisticated, life-saving biological mechanism. Numbness is a circuit breaker. It's a protection mechanism against overwhelming environments. It's the cost of being too observant. When the world is too loud for too long, the system eventually shuts the windows to keep the house from burning down. The window of tolerance. To understand numbness, we have to understand how your nervous system manages stress. Key concept, the window of tolerance. Imagine a window. Inside that window, you can handle life. You can feel sad, happy, or angry and still stay online. But when an experience is too intense, you are pushed out of the window. If you go up, you hit hyperarousal, panic, rage, fight and flight. If you go down, you hit hypoarousal. This is the basement. This is numbness, shutdown, and dissociation. If you grew up in an environment where the input was constantly too high, too much conflict, too much unpredictability, or too much responsibility, your brain realized that staying up in panic was exhausting. To survive, it pulled the master switch. It took you to the basement. It turned down the volume on your emotions so you wouldn't have to feel the full weight of the pain. The cost of the shield. The problem is that the brain cannot selectively numb. When you turn down the volume to mute the grief, the fear, and the shame, you inadvertently mute the joy, the connection, and the wonder. You become a watcher of your life rather than a participant. For those who are deeply observant, dissociation becomes a double-edged sword. You are still taking in all the data. You notice the micro-expressions, the shifts in the room, the hidden tensions, but because you are numb, that data has nowhere to go. It sits in your body like unread mail. You become an encyclopedia of observations with no emotional index to make sense of them. So, how do we begin to melt the ice? The first step is witnessing the numbness. Instead of judging yourself for not feeling enough, you recognize the numbness as a friend who stayed too long. You look at that block of ice and say, "I know why you're here. You were keeping me safe when the world was too loud. Thank you. But it's quiet now." Healing is the slow, disciplined work of expanding your window. It is learning to notice glimmers, tiny, microscopic moments of feeling, and staying with them for 5 seconds longer than usual. It is somatic work, connecting back to the physical sensations in your hands or feet to prove to your brain that you are in the present, not the past. It is telling that internal watcher, you can stop scanning the horizon. The storm has passed. We can come back inside now. You are not broken. You are protected. And the same system that had the power to shut you down has the power to bring you back to life. For a moment, the ice begins to thin. For a moment, the music of the world gets a little louder. There is just you, here in the stillness, and for the first time, you are allowed to feel it.